Hi, Paul with Diode Dynamics talking about our new SS3 LED pod. Now, the SS3 is the highest output 3-inch light on the market, and that's because it uses the newest technology, known as TIR optics, or total internal reflection. We've built the entire system on a custom molded large TIR that'll focus all of the light from the LED and send it right where you need it, on or off road. This is our spot optic, and as you can see, it's got a completely flat face. After collecting all that light, it'll just shine everything straight ahead. Now, a lot of companies will try to do that. It's called collimating the light, getting it all in one direction. And then they'll put another lens on top to spread it out however you might need it. Instead, we've molded that directly into our optics. That saves a lot of light. Usually you lose about 10% just going through another lens. Instead, ours is all one piece, so again, it's even more efficient. Now, the first two beam patterns we offer are spot and flood. These are more traditional, but again, with the SS3, you get more output than you'd expect. The spot is our standard optic with no modifier at all, and that's going to direct all that light straight ahead, making it 50% more intense than the closest market leader. You can expect up to 151,000 candela, just a huge number, very efficient in focusing all of the light straight forward. If you need to see far, this is the optic that you need. Our flood is going to have a pillow optic modifier on it to give you a nice even spread of 60 by 60 degrees of light. That's going to allow you to fill out any areas at a work site or a campground, or if you're traveling really slow, wheeling, crawling, we recommend our flood option. The next two beam patterns we offer are SAE DOT road legal, depending on your state and local regulations. The first one is an SAE driving pattern. As you can see, there's just a very small optical feature to this, and that's going to spread the pattern out in an 18 by 8 degree pattern. This is also known as an auxiliary high beam because this can be used to supplement your car's factory high beams. If you're looking to see further down the road legally at night, you'll get a lot more output than your factory high beams alone. Our last option will be our SAE fog light. Now, that's going to follow the J581 standard, and it'll actually meet the newer F3 requirement, which is the only 3-inch light on the market to do so. That's because we're able to really control that light, ensuring a nice cutoff to the fog pattern while still maintaining a super wide 70-degree spread of light. Now, all four beam patterns are available in a nice cool white to match any factory LEDs you might have in your vehicle, or a selective yellow, which will give you a really distinct look or help cut through that fog or inclement weather. We offer two different power levels for all of our beam patterns as well, the SS3 Sport and the SS3 Pro. Both of these use high intensity emitters, so the focus and overall output is fantastic with either option. The Pro is just about double the amount of total power. If you're looking to see really far, use the Spot. If you're taking it slow and need to light up a huge area, the Flood's your choice. If you're on the road and you need to see further down the road, use the SAE driving. If you're looking for a nice upgrade to your factory fog lights or adding a fog light application, of course, the SAE fog is going to be your best bet.
Hi, Colin with Diode Dynamics, here today to show you how to install our SS3 Fog Light Kit available for 05 to 2011 Toyota Tacoma or 07 to 13 Toyota Tundra. Today we're going to show you how to install it on this 08 Toyota Tacoma. Let's get started. Before we go ahead and start working on the vehicle, we're going to need to assemble our SS3 Fog Light Kit. Our first step is to take our supplied spacer and fit it between these two tabs on the outer side of the bracket. And then repeat the same process on the other side. Next, we're going to take our supplied nuts and put them on either one of these slots on the sides of the SS3 with the nylon washer facing the inside. To start our install, you're going to notice that we're on the driver's side of the vehicle and we have our wheel cut all the way to the left. That's because we're going to need to gain access to the back of this bumper. We're going to peel this fender liner back to gain easier access to the back of the factory fog lamp. Now, you can probably get away with doing this from underneath of the bumper, but peeling this fender liner back is going to make things a lot easier. Coming to the back of the bumper, we're going to be removing this 10mm bolt to peel this fender liner back. Normally there's a plastic clip right here, but for whatever reason on this vehicle it is missing. Just know if you're doing this to your own vehicle, there'll probably be a plastic clip you'll need to remove as well. Next, we have 2 more 10mm bolts to remove on the underside of the bumper before we can go ahead and peel our fender liner back. Now that we have our hardware removed, we can take the fender liner and peel it back. As you can see, this vehicle owner previously had our SLFs installed. That's not a problem. It's going to disconnect the same way any factory bulb would. We're just going to turn it counterclockwise, pull it out, and then disconnect the factory harness. Next, we're going to squeeze this fixed pin with a pair of pliers and push it through the back of the factory bezel. Next, we're going to push in these 2 cylindrical tabs that are on either side of the fog bezel. And we're going to push down and then push our fog lamp forward to break those loose. And we're going to do the same thing for the opposite side. Now that all of our tabs are pushed in, we can go ahead and push our factory fog lamp through the front and pull it right out to the front of the bumper. Before we install our SS3 fog light kit onto this Tacoma, we're going to take the aiming assembly off of the factory fog lamp and install it on our FT bracket. We're going to start by removing this pivot clip, which will expose our Phillips head screw. And we're going to go ahead and remove this screw. Next, we're going to remove this clip using a set of needle nose pliers. We're going to pinch these 2 tabs and push it straight through. We can now install the plastic retaining clip into the back of the SS3 bracket. Now we're going to take the supplied screw and thread it into the plastic retaining clip. We're going to thread this screw roughly to the back of the bracket here, but you may need to adjust this later on depending on where you want the light to be aimed. Lastly, we can put the pivot clip back onto the new ball head screw. We're going to go ahead and take the FT bracket and install it in the bumper simply by aligning it forward and pushing it straight into place, making sure that we hit both sides and the 3rd pin in the back. Before we install our SS3 into the bracket, we're going to plug in our DT connector, and then we're going to push it into the bumper very carefully not to remove the 2 nuts on the sides. Next, we're going to take our supplied bolts with washers and put them through these holes that are on either side of the bracket. Go ahead and leave both bolts hand tight. We're going to adjust them in just a second. You can now plug the adapter cable into the factory connector. If your light doesn't come on, don't worry, just flip that adapter cable 180 degrees and it should light up just fine. Next, we're going to adjust our SS3 pod to exactly where we want it to be before we go ahead and tighten those bolts on the back all the way down. Now that our SS3 fog light kit is installed, you can see that not only will it give your truck a fresh modern look, but it will also give you a significant increase in light output over the factory fog option.